But the way I look at mind is really, it's much more akin to a computer, right? So you have a fundamental operating system and then you have software. So everybody nowadays, even if they don't own one, is aware of what Apple is. And for the most part, people are going to have a laptop. And when they buy a laptop now, it's pre-installed with iTunes and Safari and Garage or whatever, GarageBand or whatever it is. Like there's software programs. But you could reset the computer and get rid of, in theory, every piece of software, and you'd be left with the operating system. Now, that operating system has evolved over time. The laptop that you buy today in 2022 is going to be vastly superior to one that you might have bought in 2010. And that would have obviously superseded anything that was in 2000, yada, yada, yada. So even without the software, the fundamental operating system has evolved. And that really is the container in which you can get to add programming. Somebody might be a designer, and so what they want to do is get all the Adobe suites, and they function in Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop. That's their software. Yeah. So that's what they're putting in their mind. And for somebody as a human being, what they might put in their mind is the study of law, and they become an attorney. For somebody else, it might become they become a car mechanic, and they know everything about like the carburetor to whatever it is that they have to study. So, but they both had the basic operating system. Now, this is where I think there's also room for a lot of compassion, which is everybody's functioning within 100% of their capacity, but everyone's 100% capacity varies. So then you start to see, okay, well, if in the absence of programming, we're left with operating systems, which I would assert is getting closer to what the mind is, which is really just the space of possibility, then we start to become a little bit more responsible for like, okay, what is the code? What is the programming that I'm quote unquote ingesting or reinforcing? No different than diet, right? In Ayurveda, which is part of my work, we look at like ingestion on all levels. We don't just look at it as like, what are you putting in your mouth and swallowing into your stomach? It's like, what are you visualizing? What are you watching? Like if you're watching horror movies and like these horrific like shows with a lot of violence, then it's really not that different than eating like a bunch of junk food, right? And I could assert probably even worse. Are you listening to lyrics and music in like some of these like very derogatory sort of rap songs? And, you know, it's like, again, I'm not judging. I'm just saying that the vibration of those lyrics is a form of ingestion that fundamentally is going to be put into your mind that is going to create a tendency towards maybe the way that you relate to people in a much more sort of hostile way, right? Versus you're listening to beautiful classical music, or you're listening to like some of this more like yogic music, et cetera, et cetera. And again, not like I'm leaning in either way. I just want people to understand that there's resonance.
Just cause and effect.
Just absolutely just physics of like, what is that vibration? Yeah. So that to me is really the mind, which is it's a space, it's a container. And to a certain degree, people have a proclivity towards like greater intelligence and greater awareness, and some don't. That doesn't matter. It's just what is the software that you're putting in there. Now, of course, in the formative years of being a child, a lot of that software is being triggered and installed from parents, like, you know, money doesn't grow on trees and don't do that, you're bad, you know, and before you know it, that then becomes the structure in which an adult is born, not realizing that they've become very confined by the program that was put in their mind when they were very young. Yeah. So mind is just really, if you really want to break it down and make it synonymous with one word, it could be like mind is possibility.